Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of A Queen's Roundtable Show. I am your host, Jacqueline Kabah Harrison, and we have another guest on with us today that is going to leave you with some different tools and tips to be able to level up both personally and professionally. We have Miss Angela Lewis here with us today. I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce herself.
Awesome. Well, Jacqueline, thank you so much, first and foremost, for giving me an opportunity to be here on the Queen's Roundtable Show and Podcast. This is a hot place to be, so I'm very excited to be sharing the platform today. So, as you said, my name is Angela Lewis. I often go by ALove. I am a speaker, a life coach. I am owner of A&M Publishing and Productions, and I also am editor in chief of iShine magazine. So I have two different platforms. One is Hot Wife Society, where we talk to women about, just being that wife and being that helpmeet and being that woman who is bringing favor to her household. And then I also have a platform called Woman Empowered. And from there, really talking about empowerment, talking about building your confidence, helping you to get to that next level in life where you are operating in your gifts, in your talent, in your skill set to make a major impact and influence on the world.
Wow, you do
A
you do
lot.
so much.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I don't even know where to start. So I guess I'd like to start with tell us a little bit about like, where you grew up. If you come from a large family, if you come from a family of entrepreneurs, if you're married, do you have children? Just give us a little bit of a brief personal backdrop, if you will.
Sure, absolutely. So I am a preacher's kid. So I grew up. My father was a Methodist minister, so of course he did that along with carpentry. So I guess all my life, even though I didn't recognize entrepreneurship at that time, uh, I grew up around that. My mom was a stay-at-home mom for quite a bit of time, and then she moved into the school district where she became the cafeteria manager. So being able to see both of them do their thing was really important to me. I have older siblings from my father's previous marriage, and then in my household, I grew up with a brother and a sister. So, yeah, we just had a lot of experiences in and out of the church. We were going quite a bit, so very active. In seeing my father, run a congregation and just kind of seeing how church things work and how you can go in and really impact and influence people through his voice of speaking and talking about the word of God. So for me, I think that was probably a direct but indirect impact on me. I grew up talking a lot. So, to move into a space where I'm a speaker and to, really encourage people to use their voice, I think it kind of stemmed from that. I'm a wife and a mother, have two amazing daughters. They're 21 and 23 right now, about to be 22 and 24. So they really keep me going, keep me abreast of what's going on so that I can kind of stay relevant and impactful and know what really is important because they are my why. I'm really wanting to be a role model for them, somebody they can be proud of, somebody that they can look up to and really kind of see maybe if I'm doing anything in the world that they would want to emulate that in some degree to go out and make the same type of impact and influence to those who are around them. So yes, ma'am.
Wow, that is awesome, awesome, awesome. I love it. And I know we kind of go back a little while. We've worked together before, but
Yes.
it's always a pleasure, talking with you. Your energy is just so, uplifting and so positive and, definitely, continue to motivate the masses. So I don't know if you shared it now, maybe I missed it. What state are you in?
I'm in Georgia.
You're
So
in
right,
Georgia. I
yeah,
don't know
in
why.
the Atlanta metro area. Yes, I am.
I don't know why I didn't realize that. You know what? It seems like everybody is in Atlanta.
That's the
Now, wait,
place
I'm
to
sorry. Did you
be.
did you say you were born there?
I was not actually, but I feel like a peach. You see, I got my peach color on, so
I
I feel like
see.
a peach because I've been here for a long time. But I'm actually from Tennessee, so
Okay.
um, I claim dual citizenship because, of course, being in Tennessee, growing up, it's right next door to Georgia. So
Right.
a lot of the things that I think is very similar. But yes, I grew up in Tennessee, and I've been here in Georgia well over 25 years. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's like it's really going down there, boy. Because I know a lot of online entrepreneurs, and everybody's like, everyone's in Atlanta, and if not Atlanta, then it's either Houston or Dallas. Like that's
Right.
what I'm
Those are the
starting to realize.
absolutely, those are the top places. And I think it's just very interesting to see how where the impact and the influence is coming from, where
Mhm.
people are showing up, because it tends to be very similar areas when you see people who are stepping up into kind of similar type things. So it's a great place to be. Atlanta is very popular for entrepreneurs, very popular for people who are out here building their brand, whether it's through your personal brand, through a product or service. It is a place where you can really connect with other people and collaborate and make some major things happen. So
Yeah.
love being here.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. So let me ask you about. Oh my God, I'm just trying. Like again, I really don't know where to start. So when you initially started your business, what was the what was the motivate? Excuse me. What was the motivation behind that?
I'm gonna tell you, Jacqueline. Honestly speaking, I've started some different things at different times of my life. But I will say that to really get in the space where I am now, I during the pandemic was just really instrumental in kind of doing the transition to maybe going from where it was a hobby to going to where I want to be full time, moving in my purpose, moving in my passion. And a lot of that came from, I used to do a lot of little events and things, where I've always wanted to encourage women. I've always wanted to motivate women and inspire them and push people, to be their best self. So, people who know me well know that if I see something in you, then I want to push you to be great. And so I know that a lot of times as women, we're so comfortable, just kind of doing what we do and we don't think that much of it. We're like, oh, it's just a little something, or oh, girl, it's not really that much. And we downplay what we have to bring to the table. But when, as a woman, when you see another woman who's out here shining, who's out here, being a queen, and when you want to help her recognize her potential, then it is for us to go and do that. So during the pandemic, I had an opportunity to really take something that I had done as an event. It was married or single. I am a woman empowered. And so from there, I decided what other better time than to get on this virtual platform and put something together. So I did a virtual empowerment summit, and I had 12 ladies that came on from 12 noon to 12 midnight sharing. And in the space that I'm in, I've met some amazing people who are doing great things, and it just kind of spiraled from there. So once I did the summit, I was like, well, what else can we do? So I went ahead and we did the book collaboration project with the anthology with 25 other ladies. So it's just a natural progression. Once that hit, I'm like, I really enjoy this space. I really enjoy helping people tell their stories. So it became where we started the A&M Publishing and Productions. And then from there, it went on to the magazine. So it's just like every time I see an opportunity and I'm going for it.
Right. I hear that. So, you're not the first entrepreneur that I've heard had, or took monumental strides or had a mental
Mhm.
shift or both during the pandemic. So what
Yeah.
what was it about the pandemic? Like before the pandemic, were you working a full-time job as well? Like what did that look like for you? What was that thought process? What was the final piece of the puzzle, so to speak, that made you say, this is it. I'm going to keep rolling with this.
Mhm.
What do you think? Or was it a combination of things?
To be honest with you, Jacqueline, when you are for me, I like to do a lot of different things. And
Mhm.
so it kept me on a 9 to 5 because that's familiar and that's comfortable. And even when I wanted to leave, I kept second guessing and thinking, "Oh, I'm not sure." But as I got into this space, it was just like, God was just giving me direction of trust me, trust the process. Trust me, trust the process. And so as I started going through there, I saw where a lot of people wanted to become authors. A lot of people were interested, in the podcast platforms. And so, even though we've seen them before, during the pandemic, you just started seeing more and more people coming out. And we kind of leveled the playing field because now everybody can get a Zoom, everybody can get a StreamYard, everybody can share their thoughts, and you can become a thought leader to the people who are looking for what you have to say. And being able to do that, eventually it just led me to a place where I was like, hey, either I'm going to go for it or I'm not. And I made a decision. As a matter of fact, this past Friday was my last day on my job in corporate America. So I made a decision that it's time. It's time for me to step out, and it's time for me to go for every single thing God has for me. And I don't want to look back. I just want to push forward and hopefully inspire other people who are maybe on the fence and kind of second guessing and wondering. And for everybody I've talked to who has been an entrepreneur like that, they have said they have not missed a beat. God has sustained them. He's kept them. He's provided for them. And so he's no respecter of person. So I'm expecting the same thing for myself.
Oh, right. Wow. Oh my God. Just hearing that, just gives me a lot of hope and inspiration. And I'm
Mhm.
sure it is for other individuals that are watching or who are going to catch the replay. Wow. If you don't mind me asking, what type of corporate position were you in?
I worked for a company where I really handled the kind of, how you be in these places where they really deal with a lot of different titles. So it changes from one
Yep.
thing to the next, but essentially involving accounts receivables and customer experience and things of that nature, where you're really kind of helping people just to make sure that their business end is straight on their end for us as well. So just making sure that things are running smoothly. And so in that aspect, what I did was not a bad job. I did enjoy,
Mhm.
the people that I work with and the type of work it was. But at the same time, when you're trying to build your dream, it's hard to build somebody else's dream and your dream at the same time, because at some
Amen to
point
that.
you're gonna have to make a decision. And so for me, when it got to a point where I was logging on to my computer and it was like you're temporarily locked out. So I'm like, God, what you trying to say? And it became more frequent. And I had been there over 5 years and not had any problems. So it was just like, okay, Lord, I'm getting the hints. And sometimes, we are places where we stay longer than we need to. Sometimes, we are doing things and we have obvious signs, but we just allow fear to keep us, consistently getting that every 2 week check. But God, I felt like if I can do this for somebody else's job, then I should be able to do it for myself. And so now it's a matter of me going out here, and now I'm betting on myself. And I know what I've been able to do working a job. So I can't imagine what God will allow me to do when it's me doing it just for me. So
Yep, without any limitations, right? And
without any
doing what
limitations.
you're walking in your purpose, right?
Right.
You
Right.
know.
Absolutely. I'm
And so
glad you
it's
said
just like, and I want women to, and men, if you're checking us out, to take that in, because, excuse me, I hear oftentimes that a lot of well, you know what? It's just as simple as that. Those same skills that you utilized for that particular company,
that. Hmm.
and this is for everybody. Just think about those skills that you use: customer service skills,
Hmm.
communication, organization. And then when you kind of go up the ladder, maybe if you had like a corporate sales job, maybe
Hmm.
you're doing advertising, maybe you're doing, I don't know. I can't think of anything else right now at this moment. But the point that I'm making is that those are transferable skills.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's like, if you really think about how much time you grind, so to speak,
Hmm.
for somebody else, you could be grinding for yourself. Like I know I didn't come from well, I guess sort of kind of entrepreneurial background. Like my dad was a real estate broker.
Oh, okay.
And I remember he always, even though he worked, a lot of different jobs for someone else, but I know that his heart was really in being an entrepreneur,
Hmm.
you know. And when you really think about walking in your purpose, knowing exactly what you're meant to do, you know, and it doesn't have to be like this big epiphany moment. You know what
Right.
I mean? But when you're doing something and you lose track of time, or you end a call, or you put together a project, or whatever the case is, and you feel you don't feel drained,
Right.
you feel great. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? or,
Yeah.
or, or you're doing something, you just shine. You're like, wow, I did that. Wow,
Right.
so effortlessly. Those are the types of things that you really need to listen and be in tune with. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Because that's
Absolutely.
your genius right there.
It is. And for a lot of people, you take it for granted because it's
Take it for
something that
granted.
is very easy for you to do. So you don't
Yep.
count it as being in a level of genius. You don't count it as you're doing anything different. I mean, for
Mhm.
me, I will also concur with what you said about when you're on a job, that is time to really hone the skills that you have. I know that in talking to customers, and talking to supervisors and managers and things of that nature, you're learning how to articulate your point. You're learning how to communicate and how to be effective at it. You're learning how to assess situations and then provide solutions for them. All those things are key skill sets that you need when you are actually operating in your own business, when you're your own entrepreneur. Once you get people who are, becoming your employees or whatever the case may be, you want to position yourself to be able to communicate what you are trying to do, but you also want to be able to go out here and bring in new business. And that comes with being comfortable talking to people. So while you're on that 9 to 5, if nothing else, let it help you hone the skill sets that you have. If it's marketing and advertising, see how they do things and then learn how to use that for your own business. If you're administrative, find out how whatever processes and programs that you use for your job, see how those can transfer over to your business so that you can be automated or you can be more professional and more on point when you're dealing with people. It's a great opportunity to take those things and then make them your own. And then from there, you're not starting from scratch really because it's something you've already been doing.
Yep. It's something you already know. I'm so glad you said you're not starting from scratch. Because that's the first thing people think of. It's like, I'm too old, because let's be real, a lot of times that comes out, I'm too
Mhm.
old to be starting all over, starting from the bottom
Right,
and but you're
right.
really not, because you're taking all of those years of education,
Yeah,
all of those
experience.
years of
Yes.
practical experience.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I want to just acknowledge Miss
Hmm.
Rochelle. Thank you so much. So Rochelle said, "Wow, one time discussion. I just retired from the. I guess that's maybe Air Force, and I
Hmm.
want to employ my brand and empower women as well. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
That's
Because
good.
we as women, we need some empowerment, don't we?
We do.
Because it's
We
like I
do.
kind of wanted to go. Let me just hide this. I just wanted to acknowledge her. I have to say that I that's something that I think. That's something I hear very often
Mhm.
is just kind of being afraid. Being
Yeah.
afraid to step out there. And I think I don't want to say all societies because I only know this, United
Right.
States
Right.
capitalistic society,
Mhm.
and especially as far as we as African Americans.
Yeah.
I know when I grew up, I was always taught to go to school, get a good education, and to
Hmm.
get a good job, right?
Hmm.
And a lot of times it's discouraged to break out on your own, unless it's just something that people automatically see
Right.
you winning at, which
Right.
that's really not the reality. You typically, I'm not saying it's impossible, but
Hmm.
typically you don't just come out winning just like that.
Exactly.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Exactly.
You have to grow things. But a
Hmm.
lot of times it's discouraged. And especially I think for us as women, I think a lot of times people still think that, okay, it's even somewhat taboo for some people still today to focus on a career or to even be mindful of a career.
Right.
It's just like, well, what about, getting married or your family,
Hmm.
and even your immediate family as well as your extended family,
Yeah.
or your children. So I think a lot of times our struggle is compounded as
Hmm.
well with those other things, which also has us kind of like tuck it away and say, well, maybe that's kind of silly of me to be dealing with that or even thinking about that. Let me just go into my little job so I can retire from there and have a
Hmm.
decent pension, which
Right.
nowadays, and y'all ain't gonna get me started talking about
No
this,
such thing.
but
Exactly.
not right. That's like a thing of the
Right.
past, talking about
That's
a
back in the
pension.
day, right? When you used to think about, getting and to be honest with you, things have changed so much from when people were saying, go to school, get you a good job. A lot of people come from school and they have more debt than they care to even think about. They leave from school and they can't find a job in the field that they went to school for. A lot of people are out here and they want to do something different, but then they get caught up in being a mother, being a wife, and they decide to put their dreams on hold to advance the family. Well, there's still that same woman who wanted to be an interior design person, or that woman who, was a great at baking cakes and, wanted to create her own catering business or whatever. What has happened now, though, is the pandemic really kind of showed a lot of people that hmm, I've had an opportunity now that I'm at home to really look into other opportunities where I can utilize my skill set. Now I see more women stepping out, stepping into their passion, stepping into their purpose. I see more role models who are out here doing their thing. So now, to be honest, it's a struggle finding employees because everywhere you go, there's a shortage. There are people who are quitting their 9 to 5
You're
and they're
right.
stepping out on their own. So we just went out to eat earlier before I got on the broadcast today, and it's a struggle at the restaurants because people don't want to
Yep.
show up for work. So now you're seeing more people who are one taking advantage of the extra income they were getting, whether it's from the PPP loans, whether it was for the stimulus checks, whether it's from unemployment. They're taking that income and they are spending it to provide them with other opportunities, whether it's investing in real estate, whether it's getting your own truck or fleet of trucks, and now you're going out here tapping into what Amazon and FedEx and all the other places may have for you to carry and distribute products and services. So the playing field has kind of changed, and people have shifted in how they want to start making money for themselves and not for someone else. And it's kind of created a whole different paradigm shift of what's possible if you take the time to really start investing in you.
Yep. I wanted to acknowledge Rochelle again. She said, thank you. Wow, 30 years in the
30
Air Force.
years.
That's awesome.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
All right. I
Absolutely.
love it. I love it. I love it. Yes. All right. Well, thank you for sharing. So much appreciate you. Really do. I really do. Because I know you know, taking out your time to join us because a lot of people catch us on the replay.
Yeah.
So you are right. And I didn't really think about that. You're right. Everywhere you go, there's like help wanted signs. Check this out.
Hmm.
Let me
Hmm.
look at the time. Sometimes I get a little excited and I forget about the time. Do you know White Castle is paying $15 an hour?
Is that unbelievable? You
Look,
take
I had to, I did a double take. I
You
was
got to
like,
do a double take and look at it right. But what about the sign-on bonuses? Just to go to, fast food restaurants and other places. That is
unheard
showing
of.
unheard of.
Yep.
And it's the opportunities for people out here, but it also opens your eyes that people are no longer just sitting back waiting for
Hmm.
somebody else to dictate their destiny. They're not sitting back waiting to, go into these jobs to be mistreated, be mismanaged, be underpaid, undervalued. They want to be positioned somewhere where I can, fight my own battles, or I can go out here and pave my own way. I can go out here and tap into a tribe of people who are listening for what I have to
Hmm.
say. It's so much abundance out here. And if you shift and, like Rochelle said, wanting to empower women, it's so many opportunities. And with the
Yeah.
skill sets you have that you've developed from 30 years in the Air Force, trust and believe there's people out there who want to hear what you have to say, to be able to show up in that space as a woman and hold your own for that many years. You
Yeah.
have something to offer, with women becoming more confident, with women stepping up and learning that there are leadership skills inside of them because we manage households. So you have leadership skills that will enable you to go out here and do whatever you want to. You just need to be empowered enough to believe that yes, it is for you too, and you don't have to put your dream on hold. You don't have to put your future to the side for somebody else's. We now can go out and make some things happen, and it doesn't cost a lot. On a virtual platform, the overhead is extremely low, so you can really get out here, get your voice heard, and it's people who will want you to come speak. You can write books to show your expertise. You can do different things that will give you, like podcasts, to give you the visibility and the credibility that you need. We have people who are doing, like I'm doing, the digital magazines. There's so many opportunities for you to get out here and help people to get where they want to be. You just got to step out fearful. You got to step out doing it scared. You got to step out no matter what, and trust and believe in yourself, and it can happen.
Yep. And just think about it's limitless. When you, I know this is turning into a like a I don't want to say job bashing, but you know, some people are 9 to 5 people, and that's
Mhm.
okay. But if you're on that fence or you're not happy doing the 9 to 5, then there's all sorts of opportunities. And you think about it when you do punch a clock, or even if you're salary, whatever, they've already put a max on what they're going to give you an hour or a year.
Right.
And
Right.
if you just think about the fact of using your talents, you decide that. You decide which,
Mhm.
what's good for you in a month, or what
Mhm.
your bi-weekly pay
Right.
should be. You know what I mean? Now, no, you're not gonna come
Right.
out possibly out of the door doing that. No, but it's possible. And
It's
believing
possible.
in yourself, believing in yourself and your abilities. So, it really
Mhm.
starts up here. Again, it's a whole mindset shift.
Absolutely. And even for the women who are, wanting to take advantage of corporate
Mhm.
climbing, this is still an excellent time for you to dust off your resume, because again, if we're talking about people who are leaving corporate America, that's opening up jobs for you to go to the
That's
C suite, where you can be the CEO or the CFO or whatever. You can
that's
get
right.
there because now the doors are opening wide, and now you can even ask for even more money than what you typically would have, because now the need is there. So if that's where you are, definitely we're not bashing jobs, because you have to have jobs for certain things to even take place for us to enjoy the things that we've enjoyed up until this point.
Yep.
But if you're wanting to step into that arena, then now is the time to make that move, to pitch yourself, to show them what you're worth, to be able to let them know what the value is that you bring. And I
Yep.
think that this is a perfect time for us queens to really get out there and really, realize your potential and maximize it by letting
That's
people
right.
know. And it starts with you believing enough in yourself to show up in whatever space that is, whether it is to go to the top at in a corporate America, or whether it's to step out on your own and become your own boss. Whichever way that works for you, do what works for you and your family. It's not a thing to look at what somebody else is doing. It is for you to do what's right and what works for you.
That's right. So Miss Rochelle, she cooking with gas
Oh,
over
Miss
there. Look at
Rochelle,
her.
I know that's right. Come on, Miss Rochelle.
She said, I've created my own Facebook group offering virtual workshops. Awesome. I am writing a book and reached out to universities and colleges. Oh, universities, colleges, churches to do some consulting mentoring.
Oh,
So,
that's
all right. So,
awesome.
see, she look,
And she
she
got it.
there.
That's exactly what you should be doing. Is
She
really
there.
stepping out there and putting and letting people know what you have to offer. For most women, we just want to kind of do it, and we don't really want to do anything or say
Yep.
anything. We just hope people notice us. No, you have to be aggressive. You have
And
to
I'm
be
good for that.
absolutely.
So,
You have to be able to put yourself out there. And sometimes, and what I love about you, Jacqueline, is that you put your podcast, your show, you put what you're doing out there so that people know here's an opportunity for you to tap in, to get your visibility, to get your stuff out there so that people can see. And a lot of times people say, well, I don't want to do it because I don't want people to think I'm posting too much, or I
yeah,
don't want people to
right.
think that this whatever. No, if you have something of value, put it out there, because the way the algorithms are set up, a lot of people don't get to see it. So if you're posting more frequently, then you have more opportunities for people to tap into what you have to offer. And when they see you do it, that gives them a little bit more confidence to step out there and do their thing as well. So shout out and kudos to you, Miss Rochelle, for doing what you're doing. I love it.
You know what I have to say, and I'm a very transparent person, and I have to say, sometimes I still struggle with putting it out there. Like for
Mhm.
example, there's certain people that I see. I'm like, dang, now I don't have a problem with having people come on the show, but I
Right.
notice like when it's the new venture that I add on something that
Mhm.
I'm not quite as comfortable with. And the reason I'm sharing this is because I think, put it like this, I know I'm not the only person out there that thinks this. Like I'm like, okay, like so the summits, I'm used to doing summits. I'm used to
Right.
doing my show. But there, when I get onto other endeavors like a book, I'm working on putting
Mhm.
together a new book anthology. I have I'm looking for show hosts. Like I get a little bit more apprehensive about
Mhm.
putting that out there. Like there's certain people that I see and I'm like, man, they need to be on my network. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I
Right.
need to kind of step up my game and get, aggressive, but I'm using aggressive because that's just the first thing that came to my mind. But
Right.
telling them, listen,
Mhm.
I got an opportunity. And
Mhm.
no, everybody's not going to bite, you know, but
Exactly.
They might, you never know. Or they might be like, I'm interested in that, but maybe not this month, but next month.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
I have to admit, I'm that's something I'm still working on, is
Mhm.
being able to, say, hey, I got an excellent opportunity, and
Yeah.
it's not really, and again, it's a mindset shift. It's not really me shoving something down somebody's throat, because
Right.
I think when people, and I'm gonna say this, y'all, and then I'm done, we're gonna go into our topic. But like, I know me, you know, I tend to think of when people think about sales, they think of going into a used,
Car
what do you call it, like a
salesman.
used car lot,
Yeah.
and some pushy salesman
Mhm.
convincing you that this is what you need, and you go ahead and buy it or whatever, or you get turned off, walk out, or you buy it and then return it the next day.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's not about that. It's really about presenting an opportunity.
Yes.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? Presenting an opportunity. And, some people are going to be like, that is an excellent opportunity.
Mhm.
And then some are going to be like, not right now. Some are going to be like, I'm not interested. And that's okay.
It's
You
okay.
know,
I mean, to be honest with you, some people are the best kept secret, and they have excellent services, excellent products, excellent things that they're doing. But because nobody knows about it, because you don't want to put it out there, then you miss out on not only what you can do for yourself, but being able to position somebody else to become great themselves. So I think that, for us as women, it's just our nature sometimes to not toot our own horn or let people know what we're doing, and we tend to put ourselves in the background because we're always trying to advance and push and nurture somebody else to help them with their thing, but we don't look at the same benefits for ourselves. And so when you're out here doing business for yourself, it really is essential, almost mandatory, for you to really kind of let people know what you have going on, so that they can become a part of it. Because even if I may not want to do it or be a part of it, I may know somebody who
that's
is.
right.
You just
That's
think about
right.
it. How do you think businesses like restaurants grow? When they first come out, they have to advertise and talk about themselves. Then they have to depend on somebody to come so that they can refer them to somebody else. So that's the standard practice for any other business. Why should it not be that for yours?
That's right. That's absolutely right. And, that's a whole topic in itself. So Angela's going to talk to us today about leadership. But that's a whole topic in itself
Mhm.
about women. We as women, we feel so comfortable on the side. I use typically use on the
On the
sidelines,
sideline.
cheering somebody else on,
Mm-hmm.
right? But then
Right.
when it comes to us, it's, oh, I don't have this, or I don't have that. Speaking from a deficit place,
Yeah.
or just like you said, like, you know what? And I hate to turn this into a men women thing, but a lot of times men think they can do everything. You know
Yes.
what I mean? But
Mhm.
us, we doubt ourselves over and over and over again. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And that's we can be our own worst enemy. And
Yes.
it's nothing wrong with acknowledging yourself. Like that's something I used to
Yeah.
never do,
It's
ever.
not.
You know what I
You
mean?
know,
And I don't know why, but I just felt like it was too, braggish or
mhm.
whatever. I don't know.
It's
But
not the
but
nature of
I've always
women.
been taught not to do that.
Right, I was going to say it's not the nature of women, and so we'll transition. Really, even that comment is going into leadership. When you look at how boys and girls are raised, girls are not raised to be putting themselves out there and to be aggressive. Girls are more raised to kind of be dainty and be quiet and tone down. And you're expecting somebody to choose you, and you're waiting on the sidelines for somebody to see your value, and you want to be seen and not heard, and all those things. Where guys are, you bringing them up to push them out there. You go for it. If you fall down, get up and you go and do it again. We don't have the same level of energy behind us like we do for men. And so for them, that's why they're comfortable with competition. That's why they're comfortable with going for that position or that job or that girl or whatever it is. They are comfortable because they're brought up that you are to hunt
Right.
and you are to pursue and you are
That's
to
right.
go after. Women, we're not taught that. When you think of a woman and you talk about aggression, the first thing they call us is, and for those who are, but we're called bitches, because of how
That's
you go
right.
and be that aggressive. And sometimes it's not even about that. It's about, you may have a level of professionalism, a level of confidence in what you bring to the table. And that's nothing wrong with that. That's being assertive. And for women, we have to start looking at the difference. You don't
Yes.
always have to be aggressive, but you can be assertive.
Right.
When you know that you have a specific skill set, then let's start owning up to that, because as a leader, we all, especially as women, we really all have innate leadership abilities, because we grow up doing the things that help to raise and run households. Most
Yeah.
women, if you grew up around siblings, then you've had to watch your sister and brother. So you're doing that. If you're a single child, a lot of times you've been in a household and your parent has told you, your mother's told you, listen, don't let anybody in here. Make sure you do this, then the other before I come home. You better make sure. So you've had responsibilities as women to run households. All of that is leadership. And at the end of the day,
Yeah.
maybe you don't have a big following, but in order to be a great leader, you got to manage the main person, which is yourself. That means that when it comes to getting up on time, you got to manage that to be somewhere. You got to know how to manage your time to get there. If you have skill sets, you got to know how to develop your skill sets so that you can become even better, because it is a level of going from one point to the other. As you said, it's growth. So when you first start out, no, you may not be
Mhm.
making hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's a process. But as you learn something, then you keep that in your toolbox, and then you
Yeah.
continue to move forward until you learn something else. And so a lot of times, Jacqueline, what I love is that we can, with the Queens Roundtable especially, you bring in other queens to share things, so that sometimes you can just take the time to listen to see how somebody else do things. And that's leadership also, because you share your knowledge, you share the experiences that you've had, so it helps somebody else along the way to know how to navigate when it's their turn. And if you're open to opportunities, then the things that you have allowed to develop, the leader inside of you that you have been building up, use that leadership voice to position you to get whatever the next thing or the next opportunity you have. Allow that to help you to get that.
That's right. Look, I'm over here trying to maintain myself because this is like we are hitting we are hitting on some points today. And and it comes up often. So I'm glad we're talking about it in terms of the whole leadership piece,
Mhm.
because the focus of the next summit next month, Queen's Roundtable Quarterly Symposium virtual summit, is Born to Lead. And like
Mm.
you said, we as women, historically, not just here, African American history,
Right.
but even in African history,
Yes.
we've been historically we're leaders. So I think we need to acknowledge that. I mean, really
Mhm.
get that in our heads. And
Mhm.
also, I'm going to piggyback on what Angela said about the upbringing, and it's not something that we talk about every day. To be
Right.
honest with you, I don't even really know. Maybe just a few conversations that I've ever really had, truthfully and honestly, about how men and women are reared differently. But I
Mhm.
remember when you said that scene, what is it? I think it's, what is it? Be seen and not heard. Is that it?
Right.
I
Mhm.
know I heard that a lot growing up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we have to get rid of that myth of,
Mhm.
every time we speak up or we have an idea, about how something should go, or
Mhm.
we have some skills or some knowledge in a particular area, because even sometimes, even us as women label each other, oh, she just so bossy, or she just a
Right.
know-it-all,
Right.
or like you said, that bitch word,
Mhm.
you know what I mean, or she's so what's the word, aggressive, you
Right.
know so you
Right.
know what I mean. But just because you know what you want and you believe in yourself, that's
Mhm.
really what it boils down to. You
It
know what you
is.
want, you have a goal, and you believe in that.
Mhm.
That it's like, why do those two come together? Why does that equal
Right.
somebody is a bitch, or
Right.
too
But people
assertive,
feel
or
like that because that's not who you are. So you perceive the next person to be that. And it really has nothing to do with the other. It's just a matter of that person knows what they want, and they don't have make they're unapologetic about it. And you shouldn't have to apologize if you are competent, if you have the knowledge, if you can go out here and make some things happen and truly be able to do it. See, a lot of people, talk the talk, but they can't walk the walk. But when you have somebody who can sincerely go out here and make a difference, who can sincerely tap into leadership skills, and not only do you want to get to the top, but you want to bring other people with you. When you have people, like Rochelle says, in order to be a good leader, you also have to be a good follower. You have to be able to sit back sometimes and be quiet and study other people and study how they make moves, because at the end of the day, leaders they make chess moves, not checkers. You're not trying to jump on people and take them. You're trying to advance, and that's strategic and that's intentional. So in order to be a good leader, you have to really kind of sit back and watch some things sometimes. But when you know what you know and you're confident in that, there's no shame in you stepping out and letting people know. And for a lot of women, we may look at you sideways, but it's time out. We need to normalize women being able to speak up. Because I don't know if you ever remember reading a lot about, but I kind of listened to something before about during wartime when the men went out to war. The women had to hold things down. They were here at home running the factories and doing all the different things to make sure that things were being ran properly, because they couldn't come back to the United States with a mess. They couldn't come back, with everything in shambles. So they had to come out of the home and go into the workforce and start doing some things. So for women, we make decisions. And for leaders, you have to be a decision maker. And a lot of times when women as having children, we have to be quick thinkers. We can't just all sit around. Sometimes we're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, what am I going to do? We have to call shots and we have to make it happen. And so, because that's natural for us, if we channel that into a business opportunity or into even corporate America, it takes away from you feeling like I'm doing too much or nobody wants to hear what I have to say. A lot of times in our mind, we already have the answer. We're just scared to put it out there because we are fearful of what somebody else is going to say.
Ooh, you know what? I'm just thinking about that. When you say you're doing too much, I have a 10-year-old, and I'm telling you, every day I'm told I'm doing too much. just look, and you know what my response is? Well, you're not doing enough. I'm
Mm,
doing too much, but you're not doing enough.
mm.
Sorry, I digressed there for a minute. Woo! Okay. So yeah, so to be a good leader, you have to be a good follower. I agree with that as well.
Yes.
Wow. So we're talking about leadership, and you know what? I want to know, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. So if someone's listening to this broadcast, whether it be right now or later on tonight or tomorrow, next week, whatever, and they say, "Wow, how did she go from?" And I can't remember if you said this is where you initially started, but how did she go from having a Facebook group to being a publisher, right? And
Mhm.
creating a digital magazine. How does that how do you do that? I mean, I know we only got so much time, but
Right, right.
what
Well,
bits can you throw out there?
in a nutshell, it really is networking to meet people who can connect you to the opportunities that I've been able to get to have. So, especially during the pandemic period, it's so many people who were doing things that I was able to connect to. And as you connect, your circle should surround you with people who are out here doing some different things. So I was positioned to do one thing, somebody saw me, and then we got connected. And then I was on a different platform and I learned some things from the ladies I was on that platform with. And then somebody else saw me and said, hey, I want to invite you here, just like with your platform. So somebody may be watching this and see you, or even Rochelle, somebody could even see the comments that you're making and say, oh my God, 30 years in the Air Force, I'm looking for somebody just like that. And they can reach out to you. They can say, I'm looking for you to come to my school and talk about this. And from one thing can lead to another, to where you may say, okay, I've developed my speaking platform from this book. I'm showing that I'm credible. Now I can get into a space where I want to do a platform about women in the military and how to transition out to do some different things. Maybe I
No,
want
we
to do a
speaking
magazine
head.
about that. Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe I want to have a magazine about military women and we're talking about different things, but it's just a matter of connecting with people genuinely, bringing value, absorbing what they have to say, positioning yourself around women who are doing things as well that can iron sharpen iron. I'm part of the CEO district where we have the senior leadership team is amazing. Each one of us from a 12-month period of time has elevated together. We encourage each other, we support each other, we look to maneuver and move and help each other in areas to get even better. When you surround yourself with people who want to see you win, you don't have to tiptoe. You don't have to, kind of be quiet about your successes because they are celebrating you just as hard as you celebrate yourself. So it is a matter of just being watchful and mindful and taking advantage of opportunities, whether they seem big or small. Take advantage of them.
And I think I may have seen that in your bio. I'm sorry. What's the name of that
The CEO
affiliation?
district, the CEO district.
Now, is that nationwide or globally, or is that just in Atlanta?
So,
Or
the visionary is Kelly A. Bowens, and so we have the CEO district community. So anybody, it's on the Facebook page where anybody can become part of that. And then inside of the community, there are layers that you can become a part to really kind of strengthen what you do.
mm,
They give you opportunities in the marketplace to talk about your business. So for women who are shy, and like you said earlier, that maybe don't want to come out and really talk about themselves, it's an excellent opportunity to get in front of over 2,000 women to really speak about your business or your product or your service. Then we have academy classes where, we teach on different things. So I teach on Wednesday nights, I talk about how to become an author and how to use your book to advance yourself and become that subject matter expert and how to use it as a tool to get you into other doors of opportunity. So it's a great place, but it's surrounding yourself with people who want to see you win and will help you to do that and not trying to compete against you, but really want to help you.
okay. You know what? And it's good to know that because I've come across, I don't want to say, this is all I've come across, as to, say that it's hard to find communities like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
But I know I've experienced sometimes where you may get in the community and, maybe it's, I don't know, spearheaded by one person or, a board, if you will, or several people. And they, as long as you're like buying their products or services,
Hmm.
everything is good,
Right.
but it's funneled towards, purchasing, you
Hmm.
know, from them and not necessarily trying to help people, you know what I mean, realize
Yeah.
what they have and strengthen what they have.
Right.
So I'm always, my ears are, again, I'm listening, I'm learning. Every time I talk to somebody, I learn something new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody has different resources.
Absolutely. And that's where the power of what you do is so important because you allow people to come on and you give a voice to what's going on in the world. So whether I'm in Atlanta, whether I'm in Michigan, whether I'm in Houston, wherever, you're finding people who can help you tap in to even greater things.
Right.
So I love the fact that, again, when you are positioning yourself with different women, sometimes again you just have to listen. That's the leader in you to listen and find out what can I use to add to my toolbox? What tips, tools, and strategies can I glean from somebody else that may help me to become a better person? And as you find that out, then you can go and employ that into whatever part of your business structure you need to become even better. But again, it's opportunities like yours. You're a giver. So you're always opening up your platform and reaching out and bringing quality people on who talk about what they have to offer. So because of that, you're already setting things up for women to go to that next level in their business or their career.
There was a little bit of noise in the background. I was going to mute myself. Did you stop talking? Okay, so I'm looking at the time
Hmm.
and I want us to go ahead and get ready to close out because I want to make sure we, stay on point with the time. So go ahead and say anything else you want to mention in reference to leadership, natural born leadership. Let them know, where they can find you. And then I'll come in after you and tell them about a couple of my opportunities.
Okay, absolutely. So again, my name is Angela Lewis. I am available online, Instagram, Facebook. I am Angela Lewis. So those are my handles to find me there. If you're interested in getting a book published, follow me with A&M Publishing and Productions. You can contact us there to do that. If you're looking for opportunity to get visibility with the magazine, then it's iShine magazine and podcast. So definitely reach out. I would love to connect with you. And I would just like to say that when it comes about being leadership, each one of us has leadership skills inside of us, but you can only lead yourself as far as you believe in yourself. So if you're feeling like you can't do certain things, you can't get past that. You have to expand your belief in yourself. You have to understand your self-worth. And once you get to a level of confidence, then it allows you to step out and go even further than you've ever imagined going before.
That is so powerful, so powerful. And I want to say thank you, Rochelle. And for those of you that may have joined, StreamYard gets it's a little tricky in order, you have to do something in order to let your comments be seen. But go ahead, please leave your comments. And for those of you that are going to catch the replay, let us know your replay viewer and still leave whatever questions or comments you have. Okay. And also share the broadcast out, because you never know. Because what Rochelle said here, God led her to this virtual discussion. So it may be somebody else also that needs to hear this message. So please go ahead and share it out. So I want to end on a note of, again, we're talking about transitioning. And I know it's all this whole virtual realm has opened up so many different opportunities for us to be able to shine and to just get out there and make an impact. And some of you may not be quite sure what you want to do, but just start doing some different things and experiencing different things, talking to different people, and you'll get guided, and you'll know what feels right to you, but just stay on that path. So I just want to leave you with a couple of opportunities. So again, if you are interested, if you're an entrepreneur and you're interested in coming on the show and speaking about, your signature talk, I would love to have you on the show to help empower other women. Also, I am the executive channel producer of A Queen's Roundtable channel on the Women Win Network. I am so excited about that because we stream on Roku as well as Amazon Fire TV. So just as of now, I don't know what it's going to be next month or the month after that. I'm sure the numbers are going up, but right now we're reaching nearly 100 million viewers on both of those streaming platforms. Okay.
Awesome.
So if you have a show or want to have a show, link up with me, email me at realizing your potential. It's at the bottom there, realizing your potential 123@gmail.com. And let's have a conversation. I'll give you more details. You ask whatever questions you have, and let's make it happen. And also next month, we have the A Queens Roundtable Quarterly Symposium. This one is focused around born to lead, meaning talking about the innate ability as women that we already have to be leaders, not just in our homes, our communities, our own business. I mean, to be able to make a global impact. So go ahead, and if you want an opportunity, to speak on a virtual platform. This is a national platform. So this is a good opportunity to be able to, get out there and get seen. Okay, so you can message me about that as well. I have all of those links on my page. So definitely, let's link up and see where it takes us. But definitely don't keep sitting on the sidelines. Don't keep, pushing your talents or downplaying your talents. Let's come to the light and let's do what you are intended to do here.
Yes.
Your purpose.
Yes.
And thank you again. So I'm Jacqueline Kabah Harrison. My guest, Miss Angela Lewis, which is poured into you all. I hope you got a lot out of this. Contact us if you have any other questions or, just want to chat, reach out to us. Please do. Thank you again. And make sure you share it out and join us again next Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for A Queen's Roundtable Show. All right, everybody. And thanks again, Miss Rochelle. I'll talk to everyone soon. All right. Take care, everybody.